The beginning of 2007 is when we started work on trying to solve this seemingly impossible challenge of designing a stadium that could take 80,000 for an Olympic Games, but then close down to something much smaller, perhaps 25,000 after the Games. As architects, we all believe in longevity. I mean, the whole basis upon which you judge a fine work of architecture is, does it look as good in 50 years as it did on opening day? And here we were where the client was saying, well, it may not even be there in a couple of years, let alone 50 years. So we came up with this idea of embracing the temporary, recognizing that the temporary was not something to be afraid of and to be hindered by, but to see it as an opportunity. And that's when we came up with the idea of separating the main seating bowl from the roof, so the roof can be taken off completely, separately, without touching anything else, or the roof can stay and the whole upper tier can be taken away, or part of the upper tier. So it was that ability to be able to deconstruct the building in parts or in whole, as the case may be.
The Olympic Delivery Authority, we're always looking for the 30-year scheme, a future neighbourhood, a future area of London. And that was our focus. So what we had was this 30-year time span and a 6-week bit in the middle that was called the Olympic Games. And that 6 weeks was a challenge to cater for it in a different way by building a different demountable stadium that would, in a way, then manifested itself to a very intimate, compact, atmospheric bowl for the better, but also a very flexible structure that could now take a lot of different community uses and a lot of different sports.
Whether a football club moves in or how much athletics gets played there, all of those sorts of things, what's important to me is that the building can cope with it. The building has been designed in such a way that if they want to leave it exactly the way it is, it can be left the way it is. If they want to close it down to a small 25,000 seat athletic stadium, they can do that, and they can do pretty well anything in between.
It's simply made out of ordinary ice section. You could even describe it as cooking steel, but we organised it in a simple geometry and painted it black, so it just disappears into the background, and all the focus is on the roof steelwork and the wrap in the foreground. So it was using those sort of techniques we were able to challenge our own perceptions, really, of what a stadium could be.
We just decided to use less material. We decided to build the lightest building possible, and it's just over 10,000 tonnes of steel in the main frame, which is probably a quarter of what an 80,000 seat stadium would normally use. And so as I say, it's no great leap of science. It's just simply, if you build less, you're going to leave a smaller footprint.
Less is more, or somebody wants.
Less is more. And we never wanted a building that took away from what was going on inside. We never wanted a building that shouted out, here I am, look at me. We wanted a building that was just quiet and subdued and perhaps elegant in an understated way. Because we really liked the idea that the outside of the building wasn't a barrier. It was just a permeable space. I mean, the wrap is really just a thing you just walk through without hardly even noticing it. So that a lot of the life that you normally tuck inside and around a building up on concourses is all outside, and it allows the people who are enjoying a drink or a piece of food out on the outside of the island can look across, can see the gardens, can see other people moving through the park, and it just links all of these things together.
The starting point for the design of this stadium was to try and get the spectators as close as we possibly could to the action on the field of play. We interviewed a lot of athletes right at the beginning of the process back in 2006, and they said, please get people as close as you possibly can. Literally, if we can feel the breath of spectators on our legs, we'll go faster. It's simple as that. So it feels like one wall of noise when there's an exciting event happening in the stadium, and that creates the intimacy.
Just to see the park open now, and to see a number of the other venues that were designed, and all the concourses and bridges and the whole, this structure fit into this setting that is actually what we designed it for, the future setting surrounded by the waterways and the beautiful landscaped area, and see it used by the public and a sport for the first time will be, I think that in itself will be a fantastic time.
I think what we've done here, and not just us, but the whole London Olympics, is we've pushed the envelope a bit. We've shown the world that there's a different way of doing it, which is a bit more environmentally friendly way of doing it. It's a bit more low-key. I think it took a very self-confident, brave city and client to take that journey to go that route, rather than win an Olympics and say, let's build the world's biggest edifices so that everybody can look at us and say how clever they are. To take that bold step and say, let's build quiet, let's build temporary in some cases, semi-temporary in others. I think that was a very bold client, and I'm very proud to have been part of it.